This is the life story of Walter E. Deuchler, who was a director of the Aurora Foundation, now called the Community Foundation of the Fox River Valley, from 1959 until 1975. During his tenure on the board, Walter served for many years as chairman of the Scholarship Committee, working closely with William B. Green, who was the founder and president of the foundation. In 1975, he and fellow director Carl Gruby posed with students who received scholarships from the Deuchler Scholarship Fund. This fund was created by Walter in 1968 to recognize academically talented students, independent of financial need. Walter believed that students who work hard to achieve success in school deserve the opportunity to be recognized for their efforts. Since his scholarship was created, thousands of dollars have been awarded to local students. Walter Edward Deuchler was born to Herman Deuchler and Wilhelmina Tetman on August 14, 1889, in Aurora, Illinois. Walter's father, Herman, was born in Aachen, Germany in 1861 and immigrated to America by himself at the age of 18. After serving as a baker's apprentice in New York City, he followed the gold rush to South Dakota to bake bread for the miners. In 1885, he moved to Aurora and opened his own bakery on LaSalle and Main Street, now called Galena Boulevard. A parking lot currently occupies the site of the bakery. In 1888, Herman married Wilhelmina Tetman, who was born in Hanover, Germany. Prior to her marriage, Wilhelmina was a housekeeper for a family who lived at View and Downer Place in Aurora. Upon marrying Herman, she assumed the management of the bakery, and the couple resided above the store. Walter was the second child of 4. He had an older sister, Ella, a younger sister, Clara, and a younger brother, Gustav. When he was born, his family lived in a home on Jackson Street, which was later torn down to make way for the construction of St. Paul's Lutheran School. Later, he and his family lived over the bakery, and eventually moved to a home on Illinois Avenue and Wilder Street. Walter inherited his mother's business acumen. His entrepreneurial spirit was evident at an early age when he started selling newspapers in downtown Aurora and carefully placed his meager wages in a savings account. During high school, Walter worked at the Western Wheeled Scraper Company, the predecessor of Austin Western. His duty was to tamp down the cinder floor around the furnaces. The high temperatures and exhausting work convinced him to seek a college education. However, also during this time, his mother died, and his father was unable to manage the family bakery without her. Herman then entered the insurance business. One of his first customers died within a week of buying a policy. When he paid the death benefit to the widow, word spread within the German community that Herman's word was good. After that, his business boomed. In spite of Herman's success, there was no money to spare for college tuition. Walter won a county scholarship to the University of Illinois, which made it possible for him to enroll in the College of Engineering. In 1910, Walter graduated with honors from the university and received a bachelor's degree in civil engineering. After being employed for a few years in downstate Illinois, he was hired to work for the city engineer in Aurora. Shortly thereafter, he and his brother Gustav started their own engineering firm at 63 LaSalle Street in Aurora. It first was called the Walter E. Deuchler Company, and later Walter E. Deuchler Associates. When the city engineer left office, Walter was appointed to take his place. Gustav and Walter's company performed municipal engineering work on Aurora's streets, water treatment plant, bridges, dams, streetlights, and other projects. During World War I, Walter joined the United States Navy In 1918, he was stationed in Chicago during the influenza epidemic, and later recounted how people were brought to the Navy Hospital in Chicago from all over the country. When he finished his term in the service and returned to Aurora, he found that his engineering projects remained as he had left them. Because so many resources had been diverted to the war effort, his work was waiting for his attention, which made the transition comfortable. In October 1923, Walter married Nell Elizabeth Hefner. Nell was a physical education teacher at East Aurora High School when they met. Shortly thereafter, Walter and Nell bought a house on Garfield Avenue and moved it to 648 Hardin Avenue, where they lived for the next 10 years. The couple's first child, Elizabeth, was born in 1925. Elizabeth was a sweet and thoughtful child, the apple of her father's eye. In 1929, Walter and Nell's son, Walter Edward Jr., called Wally, was born. Wally was an inquisitive problem solver from an early age. In addition to being a loving husband and father, Walter was dedicated to the ever-expanding responsibilities of his career. He helped to organize the Aurora Sanitary District, now called Fox Metro. He also designed and built the New York Street Bridge, as authorized by the City Council of Aurora in December 1930. The new bridge was to replace the old iron bridge that was erected in 1884 and demolished in 1929. This vintage film of the construction demonstrates the hard work and considerable effort involved in making the bridge a reality. Walter was proud of the project and wanted to capture on film the vastness of the endeavor for future generations. In spite of the long hours that accompanied a process that relied heavily upon manual labor, steady progress was made as Walter had envisioned. Finally, the magnificent structure was completed, with the addition of statues, railings, and light poles designed by Emery Seidel. The bridge was officially named the Memorial Bridge and was dedicated on Veterans Day, November 11, 1931, in memory of the veterans of World War I. Walter later designed the sprinkler system for the new Aurora Country Club, for which he was awarded a life membership. He served as city engineer for a total of 16 years. He then returned to his engineering firm to run the business, and his brother Gus took his turn as city engineer. Other municipal projects for which Walter was responsible included the Stolp Avenue parking lot, the numbering system for Aurora streets, the Stolp Avenue approach bridge, the North Aurora Bridge, the North Broadway Indian Creek Bridge, the East Main Street Dam, and the Aurora Public Library lot. In 1938, Walter and Nell moved to a house on the corner of Calumet Avenue and Galena Boulevard, where they lived for the next 20 years. In spite of their demanding schedules, the Deuchlers treasured their time with family and friends. They enjoyed swimming with their children. Golfing with friends was also one of their favorite pastimes. Vacations were valued celebrations, which brought added meaning to their lives. Walter and Nell's daughter, Elizabeth, attended the University of Illinois. She discontinued her studies just short of graduation to marry Bill Bettenhausen, a World War II veteran who was studying for his master's degree in agriculture. Bill and Elizabeth settled on a farm where they raised 4 children: Ed, Ken, Betsy, and Kathy. Walter and Nell's son, Wally, graduated from West Aurora High School in 1947. He then attended the University of Illinois, winning the same county scholarship that his father had received. In 1951, Wally graduated with honors from the University of Illinois with a degree in engineering. During his senior year at the university, he met and married fellow student Suzanne Clark. Walter and Nell were present for the ceremony, as were Suzanne's parents, Elvin and Margaret Clark. After Wally served a term in the United States Air Force in Dayton, Ohio, the couple moved to Aurora and had a house built on a vacant lot on Garfield Avenue. Wally then joined the family engineering firm, where he became the president upon his father's retirement. Wally and Suzanne had 2 children, Mark and Merrill. After raising her family, Suzanne was elected to the state of Illinois House of Representatives in 1981. She was so effective in serving her constituents that she was elected for a total of 18 years. Sue and Wally's children were pleased with their mother's new position and were eager to lend their support to her during the elections. Years earlier, Walter and Nell had moved to a 1-story home on Western Avenue in Aurora to make life easier for the couple. In 1967, Nell passed away from cancer. Walter was devastated by his loss and filled his time by continuing to serve as the chairman of the board of the family business, even after it was sold in 1977. Walter died in 1978. He served his community in many leadership roles over the years. He was chairman of the St. Charles Hospital Advisory Board, member of the National Society of Professional Engineers, and the Illinois Society of Professional Engineers. He was also a member of the Elks Club, Loyal Order of the Moose Lodge 400, the American Legion, the Navy League, and was Director Emeritus of Merchants National Bank and First American Bank. Walter E. Deuchler was a kind and thoughtful man who never failed to give back to his community. His commitment to the charitable needs of others, especially in the area of education, will be gratefully recognized for generations to come through the annual awarding of scholarships from the Walter E. Deuchler Scholarship Endowment Fund.